Hey Nick, how are you?
Leo, I'm going okay. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the first Oprah interview.
I've been immensely looking forward to this. I'm a big podcaster, so I've always thought what it would be like to actually do one myself. I guess this is different because we can see each other rather than just the audio. So we're sort of breaking the podcast rules somewhat, but let's see how it goes.
I know. Might even chuck in a couple of songs in between this and make a bit of a
Well,
DJ.
I did get in here a couple of minutes ago, and Ambrose had the tunes pumping, and I thought that might be a distraction for the listeners. So I've quietened that down, and looking forward to having a chat with you, mate. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, no, no. I thought we'd talk about obviously the changing situation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so our work routine, our nutrition and
Sure.
supplement kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and what
love
else we're
it.
doing to pass some time.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Let's do it. Let's give the listeners what they want.
How are you adjusting to your new 9 to 5?
Pretty good, actually. I think, like most, the first week, when I first heard the news that the gym was going to shut, there was maybe some old panic um, and sort of that uncertainty of where, how my work was going to, cope with not having a gym to train. But thankfully, I've been able to get a few people outside and then still keep up a few mobile sessions, which has been good. So from a personal perspective, I feel like I've adjusted quite well. I'm obviously missing this place a fair bit and just coming in here and seeing members and having a chat and finding out about their daily lives. But I've adjusted well. I feel like the routine after what it's been 4 or 5 weeks has now become the norm. So hoping that's the case for everyone at home as well, that they've been able to adjust, that they've got their their work life, nutritional habits, everything, fitness habits, everything in check, in order, so that we can try and live week to week and day by day as normal as what we had in the past, under somewhat different circumstances. But from a personal perspective, I'm going okay, which is good. What about yourself?
Yeah, a bit of the same. Obviously, the first
In the
couple of weeks.
background there.
Yeah, so you've got nothing left in your place because I've got it all now. So a couple of spin bikes. So I'm keeping myself busy.
Yep.
The first couple of weeks was pretty busy because we had to adjust a lot of the admin, a lot of the online stuff, a lot of the behind the scene things. But that's
Mm-hmm.
starting to settle down a bit. Um, so now it's like, managing the time a bit better to spread out the day a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
PTs outdoors, online
Mm-hmm.
PT sessions,
Yep.
at home programs,
Yep.
like that. And then obviously for us, like we've got to stay registered. So
Mhm. Yeah, great. How are you finding the online? Like personally, it's kind of fun because you're doing it in the comfort of your home. It's, I guess, you know, you can be wearing whatever as long as you've got something on, but you don't have to have shoes on for starters, so that's good. And it's kind of, I'm finding you have a bit more of a personal, like a better check-in with people in terms of how they're going, what they've been up to, rather than when in the gym, it's sort of like, all right, let's get straight into it. How have you found that from your end?
good in the sense that with PTs, obviously you've got a little bit more time with them as well. So you're not like I've got someone at 7 and someone at
Mhm.
7:30, so it's like, oh, we've got to wrap it up, catch you
Yeah,
later. This time
it's
we
great.
actually spend a good bit of time after the workout chit chatting,
Mm-hmm.
more stuff
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in terms of the online, like bit of an adjustment with the classes and stuff, but I enjoy it. I'm enjoying making it look better as time goes on, like
Yeah.
getting back into editing. stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Just touching on that online, I think for personal trainers, not only just you and I, but the other guys at the gym and across the board in it, in all, across the board in Australia, all fitness professionals are now realizing that, hang on, this is another string that I can add to my bow, that my repertoire of what I know doesn't have to be just the physical of being with that person. So we're very lucky that if the person on the other end has got arms and legs, so they've got limbs, then they can move. And we don't need to be, standing 1.5 meters from them. So I guess that's the positive, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And it is an option going forward that when someone's sick or they're not fully well and like, oh, I don't want to train, particularly because we don't know what's going to happen in a few months.
Yeah.
Somebody has a bit of a cold, you've got to stay home now if you are feeling good.
Exactly. But then we can still, you could, look, you're not feeling great, you don't have to come in. Let's do some yoga online. Let me take you through some stretching, or let's cover something else that's less intense that perhaps you're not up for in the gym environment today. So I feel like we're adjusting to the times nicely, as all businesses you would think by this stage have found what's working and new avenues, I guess, to getting production out of people.
Yeah, exactly.
So like most mornings I'm doing probably 2 or 3 sessions. So I'm still heading out the door, 7:30 most mornings. I'm training with Andrew Moses, one of the trainers here, twice a week. So that's good because, like everyone, you need someone to keep you accountable, and us as trainers are no different. Like I personally find, my motivation to train, 4 or 5 days a week, is not always there. Whereas if I've got a booked a session, i.e. with Andrew, that's sort of, it's keeping me accountable. So let's say I'm out doing 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I'll see Andrew, and then I'll go home, have some lunch, have a nap. I'm a perennial napper. I love my naps, Leo. So I close the eyes for half an hour most days. And then restart the day with a coffee, and then hopefully in most cases I've got another 2 or 3 sessions to do either online or at a person's house or the local park. Wrapping up these days at about 6:45, 7 at the latest, which is a little bit earlier than what I'm used to, which has been nice. So I guess my evening routine now is I'm getting home, having dinner earlier, and going to bed earlier because I am not finishing as late. So that in itself has been a real positive. Get to watch the news, ABC News, if I feel like it. Don't recommend watching the news every night, but I probably should be doing more cooking than what I'm doing. My girlfriend will attest to that. So my daily structure is quite good at the moment. I mentioned the PTs and training with Andrew. I'm also putting a lot of time into listening to podcasts, because and they'll be anything from self-growth type podcasts. So Jay Shetty, or there's another guy called Osher Gunsberg, who most people would know is the host of The Bachelor. And they put together some really good content. So for those looking for, any self-growth, learning about how your mind works, attitudes, beliefs, behaviours, emotional states, anything that can improve any part of your life, they're the guys that I sort of swear by. I've sort of taken this little bit of a tangent here. I'm just telling you about podcasts. But so that's been a big part of my daily structure. And just furthermore to that, I'm having no sport on at the moment. I'm now listening to a podcast called Power Corrupts, which are really interesting. So I don't know if have you heard of that one? No? Okay. It's basically, really informative. If you like your history or want to learn about, you know, worldwide dictators, there's one on pandemics, there's one on catastrophes, biological weapons, warfare. What else have we got? Revolution. So I'm learning new stuff throughout this pandemic, which I guess is a positive. Yeah, it's sort of got me thinking that this is a good opportunity to expand my knowledge of the world and what's going on around us, or what has gone on around us. So it's been fun. It's been fun. They're about 50 minutes per day. Power Corrupts, they're called, for anyone interested to know. You can learn all about literally everything that's ever happened in the last 200 or 300 years. Yeah, so that's been good fun. That's pretty much my routine, making sure I'm getting out and walking throughout the day as well. If I'm not training, one of my big tips for anyone is just getting out and connecting with nature each day. It doesn't have to be more than 10, 15 minutes, but either starting or middle of your day or bookending both parts of your day with a walk is highly recommended. We don't want to be just stuck at home. The government says we are allowed out. So get out, get amongst trees. The weather's been absolutely beautiful this week. So
and enjoy it.
It's not it's been really mild. Like we've had like 20 degrees every day. So getting out, having a walk, appreciating the little things in life, which we probably didn't do as much when we were confined to just being in places like this and just coming to work. So that's a kind of overall look at what I've been doing, to keep me busy on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Anything new that you've added to your routine at your end?
I learned I'm pretty good as a handyman, so I've fixed everything from lawnmowers to cupboard doors. Yeah, I took apart a lawnmower the other day, foot on string.
Wow. Have you been like putting on like Blundstone boots and high visi, or do you just get around? How do you sort of stick to OH&S or not really?
And I've got my toolbox straight out, screws out. But then learning wise, I've got a couple of points and stuff. So done a few online courses, but reading, this is a good one. So it's behavioural professionals.
Yeah.
So I actually got it a while ago, like a couple of years ago.
Right.
I was reading it, kind of fell off the wayside, and thought it's really good reading for now because every one of us trainer-wise is in the same boat in terms of how we've had to change and adapt. So it's pretty good read.
What any key points or takeaways that you could take out of that that's worth mentioning, or is it?
So far early on, it's like the main thing, which is what a lot of people are doing, is keeping contact with everybody, even clients that we're not Zooming with, shooting those messages out, and just keep in contact with them, make sure they're okay, that kind of stuff. Because I even know with some clients that I'm doing, they're actually over Zooming with everybody. Like they don't want to, actually sick of looking at themselves and that. And I get that as well.
Yeah. It's a serious thing. Yeah. Just touching on that, like I found the end of last week, because I've done a few onlines, and then myself and Emily were doing we had two booked in Zooms, and by the end of Friday night, it was like 8:30, and we were both exhausted from being on a video chat for a couple of hours. It shouldn't be exhausting, but it kind of was. And then the next day we were like, all right, no more calls. And then sure enough, family wanted to speak on the Saturday. So and after that, we're like, right, no more calls. And then again, we went on the Sunday. So it's the new norm, isn't it? That we kind of just have to accept it.
Pretty much.
There is probably such a thing as Zoom burnout or FaceTime burnout. So maybe for those listening, that just the takeout from that is you don't have to answer every single call. I guess.
Well, exactly. I mean, obviously we don't want anyone to be alone, but then at the same time, we're locked up with people all day long. You don't actually get alone time for some people.
Yeah. If you're an introvert, then you're struggling with this whole Zoom, FaceTime, Messenger video.
You say that.
What's that?
Why do you look at me when you say that?
I'm not. No, I'm just saying as a humorous thing to say. No, we're all different. We're all yeah, wired to cope differently. So yeah. So cool.
Funding. What's the fun?
Oh, funding. Yes. Well, as you can see by the whiskers coming out of my face, I am growing a beard for the very first time in my 37 and a bit years on this earth. I've bitten the bullet, and I think I mentioned this to you guys probably a week after we were put into the gym was put into lockdown. I said, right, that's it. I'm growing a beard until this place opens again. So I am 4 or 5 weeks into my first beard. It's look, it was tough. Oh yeah, I had that. I shaved underneath there today, just because it was a bit messy. It was tough. I think the first 3 weeks was the easiest. Then by about week 3.5, 4, it started to get really itchy.
Yeah.
And so I just had to write it out, I guess. I just kept showering as you do, and what else?
Early ones here.
Homed it. I've got the moustache has taken a little bit more time. That underneath my chin seems to be working, but and then on the sides I've got a bit of salt, as somebody referred to it as. So yeah, it's grey. It's grey hairs, mate. So
it doesn't show up on the camera, Nick. So maybe I'll blur that.
Doesn't. So for those at home that are still watching, it's that's been probably the most exciting thing I've done. Other than the other stuff I mentioned about podcasting, and I'm reading books, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, the beard is my coronavirus quarantine hobby.
Well, my biggest thing, it's going to sound sad because it's fitness related, but it's fun. I'll quickly show with the camera so you can see what I mean. We've got like the bikes and stuff behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And then in front of the bikes is the big TV. All right. And what we do is we normally black out the room.
Right. Oh, you're doing like a
this
is brilliant.
And it gets all neon.
Is this what you're doing on a Saturday night or just any random night?
Well, this is what we'll do going forward. But now every evening we out the room and we do we do spin. So we'll do a spin class of this. Or if I'm writing up actual programs for our classes to go with the music, I'll knock this off, blast it up. So it's got a great sound on it. So it's been good doing that stuff. Cool. It's a bit boring. It's fitness related, but
yeah, no, that's good.
Enjoying.
Everyone at home's going out and buying a disco ball and one of those sound blasters that you've got.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait until quarantine's finished and I can actually invite 20 people around it with some espresso martinis dancing on it.